Hey guys, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Do me a favor, if you are joining, definitely hit share. Start some watch parties. Let's get this party started, y'all. Do me a favor, share. We're about to get started here shortly. Do me a favor, guys. Please share. Get the word out. Let's get going. Share to a few more pages. All right. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys. This is our third week of our Coinology series, basically based off of the 31 factors of failure. If you guys have been following us for the last few weeks, you know that one, I am Ebony Porter Ike. I am the president and founder of Coinology. I'm the creator, and I'm also the president and founder of the EPI Media Group, which is a PR and marketing conglomerate based out of Atlanta, Georgia. But we have clients all over the world. And so thank you so much for being here. I am also the author of 2 books. This is the first one, Coinology, Authentically You. And then I also have the second version of Coinology, which is entitled Intentionally Winning. In those books, we talk about finding your true purpose, being able to learn how to monetize it, and how do you win on purpose. All right. Well, this next series that we're focusing on is the 31 factors of failure. The reason why I kind of embarked on this journey was primarily because I think we focus so much on what's cliche. We talk a lot about The Secret, the law of attraction, manifestation, without focusing on the areas of failure. See, the rules and the law of manifestation, the law of attraction, willing what you want in the universe, those are typically very few steps that you have to do in order for those to be successful. However, there's 31 factors of failure that if you are engaging in at least one of these 31 factors, you will fail. And many times we don't understand. We're asking, why is manifestation not working for me? Why can I not receive what I'm looking for? I'm doing all the things that I was told in order to make those things happen, but it's not working out for me. And unknowingly, you are practicing some of the science around the law of attraction and manifestation, but you are also practicing some of the factors of failure, and you unknowingly are canceling out all of the good work that you're doing. So basically, if you're doing all of the steps required to manifest what your end goals and dreams are, and at the same time you're practicing one of these factors of failure, you're going to X out all of the work that you're doing, and unknowingly you are sabotaging yourself for success. So I thought it was important for us to spend 31 weeks, count that, 31 weeks talking about the factors of failure so that we can remove the fact of saying I unknowingly practices. I unknowingly did this so that you can now be equipped with the tools to be successful, to also be aware of some of the traps that most of us fall into as it relates to failure in one form or fashion, as it relates to our dreams and goals. Okay, so first, I'm hoping that you guys are have seen the first 2 weeks. If not, you still can jump right in where we are. But we have been giving out homework. So know that this is not a situation of coming to be entertained. It is all about coming to learn, to grow, to share, and to grow again. So hopefully you guys are doing the homework assignments that we were getting at the end of each session, and then we're applying it and growing from there. If you guys have questions or concerns, definitely feel free to inbox me so that I can make sure that you don't fall too far behind in any of the assignments. But this is our third week. So today we're going to talk about the third factor of failure that many people don't realize they're practicing. And I think that this is probably the factor we're going to talk about today is probably one that the majority of people find themselves in. It's a comfort zone. It is lack of ambition and a lack of aim to increase above mediocrity. So basically, the third factor of failure is all about being comfortable, being average, being mediocre, having mediocrity in life. So once you find yourself at a point of being comfortable, living the average life, getting the average results, living the average lifestyle, you're going to find that you are practicing one of the number one factors of failure: mediocrity. Fitting in with the norm, being okay with being average. And if that is okay for you, that is fine. No one's saying that you have to aspire to do something that you're not. But understand that if you are fine with being average and living a mediocre lifestyle, then they're going to that 2% that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, that 2% of euphoria, of success that you are going to try to obtain is not going to happen. See, let me tell you, if you talk to any of those people that have reached that area of success, if you talk to the Tyler Perrys, if you talk to the Oprah Winfreys, if you talk to the Jay-Z's, if you talk to Bloomberg's, heck, if you talk to Trump, if you talk to any of the Barack Obama, none of them operated in a space of mediocrity. They are living in a constant zone of being uncomfortable. They're always pushing the envelope. I remember having a conversation with my father. I think I was about 16 years old because I had my first car, and he had purchased, this is back in the day when the big speakers and so forth, where we used to put the big speakers in the back of our car to see how loud they can be and boom and go down the street. And I remember he had just bought me one of those, and then the week after that, I immediately wanted the next thing out. And my father told me then, Ebony, you're never satisfied. When he initially said that to me, I think that was supposed to make me feel, that was supposed to be words of chastisement, right? For me to feel a way about never being satisfied, and I should be satisfied with what I had. But as I got older and I began to study more and realize that the truly successful people are never satisfied. They're always looking for growth. They're always, once they've accomplished one goal, they're looking for, what do I need to do next? Where do I go next? What's my next thing? What am I trying to achieve next? The fact of being satisfied and being okay with the average because everybody else is there, you will not find that trait in truly successful people. They're always going to be churning. It so much so that for many people, those top 2%ers can be annoying because you're like, okay, when are you going to chill out? When are you going to relax? When are you going to enjoy your fruits of your labor? Not knowing that most of those 2%ers that we're talking about enjoy the churn. That is part of enjoying their fruits of the labor. So today we're going to talk about the individuals who are comfortable not being average. Again, that's 2% of society. And you're going to keep hearing me say 2%. So let me ask you, what does being mediocre mean to you? If anybody can add some of your comments down there, what does living a mediocre life mean? What does living an average life mean? And this has got to be an interactive session. We got to talk back and forth with one another so that we can make sure that we're getting the most out of these sessions. But what does it mean to you to live an average life, to be mediocre? Anybody want to share? Comments? Thank you for the hearts, Crystal. Anybody up here want to share so far? So, Crystal, why is it? What is it about being? What type of behavior is mediocrity to you? Average. So let me try to chime in while some of you guys are thinking. I hope while we're talking, you have your notebooks out, because your notebooks and taking some notes are going to be important, but also the interaction. But what it means to be average and mediocrity is doing what the masses do. So if what you've been told is that you needed to grow up and do this and attain this and work this place and go to this church and do this from 9 to 5 every day, the evening you do this, weekends you do that. If you're living that average life of comfort, you're comfortable, you are able to operate without thinking. It's sort of you're on auto drive. Someone says settling for what you have. Right. So even if you're not happy, Sharon, living a life of mediocrity is one that settles for what they have even when they're not happy with it. It's just comfortable. It's on auto drive. It is something that makes them comfortable. So when you hear most people say, I would love to start my own business, I would love to be a full-time entrepreneur, but I have kids that got to go to college, but my insurance, but what you're hearing there is that they have a drive. They want to do something else, but they're not willing to live out this the uncomfortable zone in order to obtain what they want. Crystal, you said conforming to what everybody else is doing. That's right. So even if you don't agree, you're conforming with what other people are doing. Even from a perspective of one, not even thinking. What I find a lot with social media, and especially, people don't even think anymore for themselves. They don't even think to come up with their own opinion, their own solution. They see a post, they see the majority of the people feel a certain way, and then they decide to share and feel that way too. And many times what you find on social media, the people don't even understand the real issue that we're talking about. But because the average, the majority, because everyone is going down this one path, this one way, everyone else decides to do the same thing. So you're following the norm. You're living out a mediocrity. You're living an average life. That is what mediocrity is. So why is it comfortable to be mediocre? Okay, it's comfortable to be average because you pretty much feel like you know what to expect. I know that I'm going to get my check on Friday. I know that if I go down this path, I will be promoted in 16 months because that is what the paperwork says. I know that if my child continues to sing in the children's choir every single week, that she will lead in the next play. I know that when you are doing something that's average, you already pretty much know what the outcome is going to be because it's tried and true. You know, you have a lot of people who have done it before. You have seen the results of what they've done, so you pretty much know what to expect on the other end. And so it removes this uncertainty. You don't have to walk with faith. You don't have to, you pretty much know what to expect on the other end. So that's why many people choose to live mediocre lives is because they don't have the stomach for the unexpected, the unknown. Many people don't even know how to activate faith. You know, you have people who go to church every single Sunday and they've never activated faith before. They never had to, because everything has always been played out for them, a roadmap. Yes, Sharon, not wanting to take risks, wanting to know your safe place. Some people just don't have the appetite for risk, and that is okay if that's you. But understand that if you're not willing to take those risks, if you're not willing to go on the road less traveled, if you're not willing to be the trailblazer and do things that have not been done before, to be the leader, to be the first, to be the only, then you're not going to get to that 2% of euphoria that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. So we have to be truthful with ourselves about what does it mean when I accept this lifestyle. I am now also turning my back on this. Okay, so be sure to understand what that means. All right, so why do we have so many people who believe that they're going to become that top 2%, but they're activating in the space of the 98%ers? Okay, and the reason for that is that those 98% of the people believe that they're going to get something for nothing. Let me tell you, the way that this universe is set up and the way that the laws are set up, you will not get to that top 2% without a sacrifice. Oh, and don't get scared, and I'm not speaking about sacrifices such as demonic sacrifices or laying someone out. I am referring to, you're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to make a decision to do this and not that. You're going to have someone disappointed. You're going to have someone upset. You're going to have people not like you. You're going to have to walk away from friends and family. It's all part of it. You can't get to that top 2% and everybody be happy. Everybody be joyous. All the kids are always happy. The husband is there. The dinner is cooked. The home is always clean. Everything is perfect. And you make it to the top 2%. When you hear people talk about work-life balance and finding that perfect balance and I can have it all, I'm here to tell you there's no such thing as having it all. It's not. It's not. And to your point, Sharon, social media has lied to people. Social media has made people feel as if entrepreneurship or stepping out on faith or that top 2% is easily obtained, and it's not. It's a lot of pain that goes into that. It's a lot of loneliness that goes into that. It's a lot of heartbreak that goes into that. There's a lot of decisions that have to be made. There may be kindergarten graduations you can't get to. There may be dinners that can't be cooked. There may be anniversaries that you may miss. There may be homework tasks that you may have inadvertently missed. There's so much to that top 2%. So when you think that you're going to get there and still do everything that the 98%ers are doing, you are not living in a realistic world. The way that this universe is set up, in order to get, you're going to have to give, all right? And you have to be okay with that. So what I would probably challenge each of you to do is to think about whatever that top 2% of success means to you. What are you willing to sacrifice for that? If you're saying, I'm not willing to sacrifice anything for it, I'm not willing to take that leap, then understand that you're also saying that I'm okay with living this mediocre lifestyle. I am going to continue. And that's okay for that, right? Because 98% of the people are going to continue down that path. Only the top 2% will push the envelope there. So I want to be truthful with you. So we're going to get that off the bat. If you are not willing to sacrifice something, if you're not willing to piss off the masses, if you're not willing to disappoint and even break your own heart from time to time, because it's going to hurt you to disappoint your children, or it's going to hurt you to miss so-and-so event. If you're not willing and ready and can't handle that, then that top 2% that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks is not obtainable. I'm going to be completely honest with you about that. Okay? Because the bottom line is nothing in life is for free. Nothing. There's a cost for everything. So that is one of the things you have to be ready to think about. So this, one of your homework assignments for this week is to start jotting down, what am I willing to sacrifice? What am I willing to do? And what am I willing not to do? Because sometimes you may say, I'm just not willing to do that. And you have to understand, for every decision that you make, you know, there's a consequence for it. And you have to live with that. Okay? The masses do not believe in being uncomfortable. All right? Or aiming for things they can't see or feel. Excellence requires an unyielding amount of faith. All right? I'm going to say that again. These are some of the notes that I jotted down prior to preparing. The masses do not believe in being uncomfortable. So the masses, guys, is the 98% that we're talking about. The masses do not believe in being uncomfortable or aiming for things that they cannot see or feel. So the masses will tell you, if I can't see it, if I can't feel it, if I can't take it home today, if I can't taste it, if I can't literally touch it and know that its existence is mine right now, they have a very right now mentality. This whole reaping and sowing, sowing and reaping, the masses don't understand that. They want it right now, all right? So excellence, though, requires you to have an unyielding amount of faith. So excellence requires you to be able to believe in something that you do not see, you have not felt. Hell, you may have never seen anyone in your life even obtain it. But you believe it so much, it's in your gut. You believe it so much that it begins to become your reality. See, the top 2% can believe in something that they've never seen before. They don't even know how to get there. See, the top 2%, they have a mentality like this. My dreams and my goals are coming into reality. How I will achieve them is not my business, it's God's business. And so when you ingrain that inside of your mind, you're not worried about how I'm going to get there. You're not worried about the steps that it takes. You just know I'm going to get to that end goal. And once you realize that that's what you want to do, the universe will make everything happen for you to get to that end goal. But in order to get there, you have to see it. You have to visualize it. You have to believe it. And for the masses, the majority, the 98%ers, they can't believe in something they don't see. They don't know. They can't feel. They haven't experienced. It's not part of their day-to-day life. They haven't seen anyone else around them. That's one of the reasons why the last couple of weeks, when I was talking about a mindset shift, one of the things that I stated was that one of the most important things you're going to have to do during this journey is to surround yourself and align yourself with people that are living out the dreams that you want to accomplish. See, when you're around people who are living the dream and are doing the things that you desire to do, it becomes more obtainable. So that when you're speaking your affirmations daily, when you're trying to visualize that end goal, it becomes easier for you to do that because you see it. It's in your trajectory. The people around you are doing it. So it doesn't seem so foreign. It doesn't seem as if you're lying to yourself. Your alignment in your community and surroundings are one of the most important things to achieving that 2% of success that we're talking about. Your alignment and your environment. Make sure of that, okay? The next one, the masses do not believe in ruffling feathers. All right? They prefer being safe secure, and liked. I'm going to say that again. The masses do not believe in ruffling feathers. And let me tell you, this one right here is what probably separates many people from deciding that 2% y'all can have it. The top 2% are not typically liked people. All right. There are people who are going down the path not celebrated, not traveled. They're doing things, they're ruffling feathers, they're speaking out of term, they're thinking on their own, they are thought leaders. And because they're thought leaders, the majority will not like them. And the top 2% have to be okay with not being the most liked person in the world. But they are going down a different path. See, I'm going to tell you something right now. If there's a movement that's happening and the majority of the people are going to the left, Ebony's going to the right. Because the majority of the people are not thinking for themselves. They're blindly going down a path that could lead them off the edge. I'm going the opposite way. And so the majority of people feel as if they have to be liked. They have to be liked. And so in order to be in that top 2%, you have to be okay with not being liked. Ruffling feathers, saying things that's going to piss people off. Got to be okay with that. The next is excellence requires separation and the masses require a crowd or entourage. So what does this mean? The top 2%, because typically they're not liked and because they typically think differently, because they don't do the same that the regular 9-to-5 folks do, they are going to be alone a lot. They are going to be okay with being a loner. They're going to be okay with walking down a path different from their peers. It's not, that's not saying that it's not going to hurt, that you're not going to be disappointed, that you're not going to want that friendship. But real leaders, many times they're alone. They don't have large entourages. They don't have large amount of friends following around them. They are usually loners or very few people around them. And that's one is because what you'll find is very successful people tend to be very strategic about their alignment. They're not necessarily about just hanging out and having cocktails and drinks and eating food and just gossiping. Their alignments, their discussions are edged out. It's very planned out. It's a purpose behind why they choose to have the people around them. Whereas the masses just want to have a lot of folks around them. They want to party. They want to have fun. They want to whatever. They just want to have a lot of people around them. Even if those people don't have the same goals, don't have the same dreams, don't have the same desires, can't add anything to you, can't help you get to your next level, can't walk you through the door to introduce you to that next person. You just want to have a lot of people around you. And so again, the top 2% are okay with being alone. Okay. The next piece here is individuality is not celebrated by the masses. All right. Therefore, excellence cannot live in the masses. So when you are different, it's not going to be celebrated in the masses. The masses don't understand when you do something different. The first thing the masses will say, the top 98%ers, is who do you think you are? Who does she think she is? Who does he think he is? Why does he think he can do this when no one else has done it? Why does he think he's special enough to achieve this? Those are the types of questions that the 98%ers ask of the top 2%. And the top 2% are saying, why not me? They walk with a level of authority and expectation. And some people may even say they have a sense of entitlement. But that top 2% is saying, why not me? I don't understand. Why are you questioning that it's me? And why not you? So the way that it's viewed, again, individuality is not celebrated in the masses, okay? The next one is the masses spend too much time feeding their personal egos and receiving acceptance, okay? So the masses are more concerned about their egos being built and being accepted by the masses and people liking them and being the homecoming queen and everybody loving and bowing down, right? The masses are more concerned about that, whereas excellence requires quiet time, all right? Excellence requires you to be a servant when no one else understands why. So let me say that again. The masses spend so much time feeding their personal egos and being liked. Whereas if you're in the top 2%, excellence, I'm going to say that again. Excellence requires quiet time. It requires separation. It requires you to serve at a measurement that most people won't understand. You're going to see someone, so you may end up seeing someone that you feel is one of the greatest minds that you've ever met. But you'll be surprised that behind closed doors, most of those very, very great minds, the most successful minds, they are serving those that they feel are smarter or greater than them. They have no problem with humbling themselves to say, I don't understand this. I don't have this. I don't know this. Can I be around you? Can you help me? How can I be in your vicinity to learn more? They're going to remove their personal egos because they know that the end goal is greater than their own personal goal. All right. So that's important to understand. You remove the masses is all about building their personal ego and being seen and known as the boss and the leader. And the top 2% will humble themselves amongst those that they know have that gift or have that knowledge that they need to obtain. All right. The next that we have here, next note that I have is the masses run and hide at the first sight of issues or pushback. So the first time someone comes at you and says, oh, I don't like that. Don't say that to me again. Don't post that picture again. Or you post something and no one hits like on your picture. So you go off and hurry up and delete the picture off of Instagram. Even though you love the picture, you love the outfit, but you didn't get any likes. So you go and delete it real quick. That's what the masses do. The masses is they're worried about getting the acceptance of those that are around them, right? But excellence armors up and they get ready for war, even if they're going to war alone. I'm going to say that again. Excellence does not worry about what the masses do or what they like or what they expect of them. They will go at it alone and they will armor up and be prepared to go alone. They're not expecting an entourage of people, of followers to go with them. They will go alone in uncharted territory and be the first. They're okay with that. All right. But the masses, the first sign of problems, issues, disagreements, disengagement, they run for the border. Again, the difference between the masses and excellence. My next note here is the masses allows no to stop them. The masses allow someone to say no to them. And when they say no, they retreat back to home or wherever their starting place is at. They just give up on their dreams. They go back to living the way that they lived before because someone said no to them. Excellence only allows death to stop them. I'm going to say that again. The masses allow no to stop them. Again, others' opinions of them. Excellence only requires death to stop them, which means that they understand their purpose. They understand their passion, and they're going to keep going until they can't go anymore. They will not stop because of other people's opinions of them. If you listen to the stories of how many times the owners of Starbucks was turned down, how many times Kathy Hughes was turned down, how many times, you go down the list of all of the greats, how many times they were told no. but they all had two of the same components. They had consistency and they had persistence. They didn't allow someone else's opinion of them or their dreams or their goals to stop them. They didn't allow someone else's no to stop them. They kept going until they achieved what their goal was. The only thing that stood between them and achievement was death. Not your acceptance, not your no's. So that's important. And then ask yourself, are you ready to break from being mediocre? Are you ready? Some of the things that we talked about today are, it can be kind of tough because a lot of people don't want to have to be uncomfortable. They don't want to have to do the work of being alone, or fighting against the masses, or being unliked, or being seen as peculiar or weird. They just want to be liked, loved, accepted in a group of a lot of people, and always told yes. And so there's two different mantras that you can choose to walk down. But if you're trying to get to that 2% that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, the number 3 factor of failure is individuals being okay with being average or mediocre. So if you're looking for that top 2%, you're going to have to bury the average mediocre mindset and being okay with it. So that is the session for today. Any questions that I can answer as it relates to today's session? Any questions around the 3rd factor of failure that we're talking about? Any questions? And if so, please feel free to add them down. So as we're talking about homework for this evening. So this week, I want you guys to focus on writing out. And I think we talked about this a little earlier. What are you willing to sacrifice? That's the hardest thing. When I first started on this journey, and one of the mandates to it is that you have to write out, face in to what you're willing to sacrifice and be okay with it. You can't, expect the universe or the world to give you something for free. You can't walk into McDonald's and get that Big Mac for free. You got to exchange some monetary. So there's something that you're going to have to sacrifice. And that was very difficult for me. I had to sit down and think through it and come to grips with it. And it wasn't something that I could answer in a day. It wasn't even days. It took me weeks to sit down and truthfully jot it down inside of my journal. And so I asked you for you to do the same thing. While we're preparing and going through these 31 weeks, I want you to sit down this week and focus on what are you willing to sacrifice in order to obtain that top 2%. If you are not willing to jot anything down, if you're not willing to think of anything, then I think you've already answered your question doing this quest of 31 factors of failure. And you probably want to just go ahead on and hang it up at this point, because it's going to be important that you're being honest with yourself about what it requires to get to that top 2%. So while you guys are saying, Trump, Bloomberg, this person is that person, they're following principles of that top 2%. And so many of us say, well, no one told me, I'm left out, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I am telling you what it requires to get to that top 2%. And it's up to you to either decide that that's what you want or you don't. Shanita says, if you practice mediocrity all your life, what are some steps to get you to your destiny? The work that we're talking about, Shanita, if you've majority of us, I would say probably 98% again, have practiced mediocrity our whole life because that's all we knew. I mean, and it's really bad now for the millennials because they're giving people awards just for showing up. Participation awards. Like, you showed up and you got a trophy. Like, I don't understand. I don't really understand that. But yeah, most of us have grown up in an environment where being average was okay, where getting a C was not punishable, that it was okay that you just slid by the radar. And so some of the steps that you have to do are what we're talking about. You have to start shifting your mindset. You know, you're going to have to surround yourself, as I said last couple of weeks, you got to align yourself and surround yourself with super extraordinary people. People who are living out the dreams that you desire to have. You have to align yourself with those people, because those people will also teach you how to think. They will teach you mechanisms that you can't learn on your own. They will give you the secrets. They will talk to you about many things I'm going to be sharing with you over these next 31 weeks. That's going to be important. But also, the steps that I just walked through in class today. So if you missed it, you may want to go back and do a replay. But actually going through those and understanding that these are the things that it requires not to be mediocre and not to be part of that 98%. So I would say the biggest thing is writing down what you're willing to sacrifice, and also check your environment, check your alignment. That's going to be probably one of the most important things you're going to hear me say over and over again over these 31 weeks. Who is in your circle? Who's part of your tribe? If you're the smartest person in your group, get a new group. And I know that sounds cliche, but it's real. You should be around people that you learn something from every single day. Every day you should look at them and be amazed by what they are spilling out to you, the things that they're learning and sharing with you, the people that they're introducing you to, the environments that you're being walked into because of your relationships with these people, the opportunities that you get because of your alignment. Those things are going to be very important, Shanita. So I hope I answered your question. Any other questions in regards to our third factor of failure? So for those who are just joining, hey, Dr. Chappelle, thank you for joining. For those who are just joining, we're now closing out this week's session of the Coinology Masterclass. I would highly recommend going back and watching the session from the top all the way down. Today we talked about the third factor of failure, which is living a mediocre life, being average. And living a mediocre, average life will never get you to that top 2%. I don't care how much you want to believe, it just will not. And I walk through the different reasons why and the different steps that it requires you to be that top 2% when you're being quested to live a mediocre lifestyle. Okay, so Shanita, you said shifting your mindset, right? Surround yourself around people who are doing what you want to do. Yes. And what you're going to find, Shanita, is that you're going to hear a lot of these tactics that I'm talking about over the next 31 weeks, because they're all going to be tied to the reasons why most of us continue to fail over and over and over again, and again, unknowingly failing. We're failing. We're thinking that we're doing the right things. We're thinking that we're following the rules and the principles. Meanwhile, we are unknowingly canceling out our manifestation because we don't believe. We're walking out of alignment. We're living a mediocre lifestyle. We're around a lot of people who have no dreams and no definite end or purpose in life. Those things will kill your ability to be successful very easily. Any other questions or comments before we close out? Everybody clear on their assignment for this week? And remember, you not doing the assignment will not hurt me. It's going to hurt you. Because remember, we're not doing these sessions every Thursday night for entertainment. We're doing it for growth. So it's up to you to take the time out to do the work, to walk through it. If there's questions and concerns, let's work through them together. If there's nothing else, then I'm going to close out, and I will see everyone next Thursday for the 4th week of our Coinology Masterclass, and we'll talk about the 4th factor of failure. All right. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next week.